when we speak with people, the idea or the conceptualization of mental health is very different when you speak to people from across the diaspora. And so when we started to conceptualize how we were going to be able to support individuals in offering services, that's one of the things that we thought about quite readily is the intersection of culture and what that means, language, understanding, conceptualization. And so since we started implementing services at the Hub in July, we've actually seen over 450 people so far, with over 7,000 interactions. And so when we think about the community and the impact to the community and what that means, it's not that we don't want to access services. We want to access the right services by people who can understand our needs. And so the impact has been in just over 6 months. It's been able to really provide us with that proof that people want to be healthy.
Hey, it's Neecee, Lexy lighting up your screen. Digital magic like you've never seen.
I think understanding mental health to be that something is wrong with you and that there's perhaps a spiritual component around something you may have done wrong in life, karma. They talk about being possessed, or it could be now most recent in the past years. There is the understanding of that connection of smoking marijuana and drug-induced psychosis, which they don't call it that, but it's coming along. But it really is around the shame, and the not knowing and the fear, right, which leads to poor outcomes because the issue is not addressed early on, right? And so this is why you have programs like early psychosis intervention and these sorts of programs that are meant to address early onset symptoms to be able to support better outcomes for treatment. And so, yeah.
Can I jump in on this one? So I usually start with an experience that I had when I was working in an agency, but now I run my own private practice. So then we would have an intake person, then we refer us to. So we're called counselors then, not therapists, for some reason. So we got this client, and funny, her name also is Bola. She's Nigerian. She was Nigerian, so in quotes, let me just use my name. So when I got the email, this is the new client, and you reach out to this person, but at the end of our names, we'll put that designation like, okay, I'm the registered psychotherapist. So the first email I got was kind of into my face. I'm Nigerian, this person is also Nigerian. She said, I didn't ask for a therapist. I am no mentor. I only asked for a counselor. And the email was so long, as in she said, I no longer need the services. She just wrote the email. And it's interesting, the person that does our intake is a white person. She said, Bola, what is the meaning of mental health in Nigeria? Do you know what mental health is? And it's interesting that so many people really don't know what mental health really means. I think in Nigeria they will say, oh, they are mad, or things like that. The stigma, the stereotypes. People are not going to open up because of the views that they have of what mental health means. And with us, and give it up for my staff, the three of them that spoke so big. So what we do actually, we see refugees, new immigrants, those are major. We give them free assessment, evaluation, and free counseling services. And one thing we have been able to also do without grants is we have enough for profits and the charity. So we give free clothing, we give gift cards, and our clothes deliberately we said we will not give used clothing. So our motto is what we cannot use, cannot give. So we kind of have a holistic approach in terms of how do we treat people when they come in. We want them to feel accepted, we want them to feel loved, we want them to have a space that there's no judgment. And so that way, when they have those feelings, they are able to actually approach the issue of mental health with a little bit of freeness, kind of, okay? So, but I think there's a lot going on with us in terms of platforms. I think we need more information and also really truly embracing people where they are at. I think that would really help.
Thank you. I think I could add that misconception that exists is that faith groups and mental health professionals don't talk to each other or don't work together or don't understand each other. And it's not or. Sometimes a parent will come with their teenager and say, you know, I would prefer if we prayed and did this instead of therapy and or medication. And it doesn't need to be or. It can be all. I had someone tell me, God gave us medicine too. You know, it's all part of it. And your intervention in your faith practice is also, it's important. That's important. And so it's great to see that there's growing connections. There have been times when, for example, someone presented very unwell at mosque, and Imam could tell what was going on, and then could call and get mental health support by bringing someone into the hospital. And so we talk to each other, we get to know each other, and it's all. It doesn't mean that it's a rejection of culture or rejection of spirituality to also seek treatment.
And I think the fact that people think that if I seek mental health as a faith-based person, like I'm sinning, right? Is it a sin against God? Or is God punishing me actually? You know, and there's a lot. I think in terms of how we approach mental health as, I'm also a pastor, by the way, it's how we kind of see people. Do we see them as God's creation, or do we just see them as people we bring to just judge? So many of us, and I'm talking to myself as well, we're very judgmental. The first thing I want to talk is, so did you sin against God? What did you do? Maybe God is punishing you. And so people don't come to us because they think that, oh, they're going to tell me God is actually punishing me. Or we can say, your faith is not enough. You know, let your faith grow up more so you can pray and trust God for healing. So there has to always be a balance for us. Even as a therapist, when clients come in and say, we want to include our spirituality in therapy, we often ask, what do you want? You want prayers, you want scriptures? So that way they know that you're giving them a holistic approach, not just a one-sided.
From the stage to the mic, she's bringing the heat. With celebs and biz minds, it's always a treat. She's a boss, she's a vibe, watch her come alive. With awards on the shelf, yeah, she's on the rise. Social waves, making plays all day and night. Neecee, Lexy in the spotlight, shining so bright. From marketing dreams to the YouTube flow, live interviews with stars you know. Every post, every show, she's changing the game. Neecee, Lexy.